Hello everyone and welcome to the Arbor Farm. Thank you for joining us for today's episode where I want to share with you how to make your gorgeous cut flowers last longer in a vase. Let's get started. In today's episode, I want to share with you how to make your cut flowers last longer in a vase. And I think the answer to the why of this is obvious. When you have invested in cut flowers, gorgeous blooms, the obvious thing is to want to make them last as long as possible in a vase. And so I'm going to show you how to do that, as well as share our flower food recipe. It's a DIY recipe. So let's dive in. So some of the supplies that you'll need to make your flowers last as long as possible in the vase are, we're gonna use some snips or scissors will work fine. And then we have our room temperature water, some lemon juice, some bleach, and some sugar. Just a regular white granulated sugar will work fine. So the first step when you get flowers from the grocery store, from the farm stand, or wherever the case might be, is to remove any foliage or leaves that are going to sit below the water line. So our little narcissus here don't have any leaves that sit below the water line, but our tulips do. And so we just want to remove any leaves that are going to sit below the water line. And this is true, again, not just for your spring flowers, but any flowers that you buy. To achieve the longest vase life, just go ahead and remove any foliage that sits below the water line in your vase. So we have some room temperature water. And the next thing we want to do is go ahead and prepare our vase, our flower food. So I'm adding a quart of water to my jar. I'm gonna leave a little room at the top. And then I'm adding 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So this serves as like the citric acid that comes dried in those little flower food packets. All of these things, in essence, come in those dried flower food packets. So we're adding 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then I have 1 tablespoon of sugar, just again, white granulated sugar. I add that to my water. And then finally, I'm using a ½ tablespoon of bleach. And so I add that to my water as well. And I'm going to give it a good stir. Now the important thing is, when you buy flowers from the grocery store, they might not necessarily be hydrated. Some things are called dry shipped, especially spring bouquets and spring flowers. But the important thing is to get them hydrated right away. So we have our vase and our flower food prepared. I wanted to mention it's important to use a clean vessel, one so clean that you would be willing to drink out of it, in fact. Having a clean vase is important. And then room temperature water. You don't want it to be too hot or too cold, and that can also affect the vase life of your flowers. So when you're preparing your flowers, after you've removed all of the foliage that's gonna sit below the water level, we like to give them a good trim on an angle. So I'm just putting my snips at an angle here, and you can see that that's not a straight cut, it's an angle cut. So that is ready to go into the water. And so we're just gonna do that for each of these Things that we're adding to the water are little narcissus. Again, not anything to remove on those as far as foliage is concerned, but this tulip has some, so we'll remove that. And this one is already cut on an angle, but I'm gonna give it a fresh cut just because I want to maximize the vase life. I'm gonna do several of these at once here. Give them a nice fresh cut. On an angle. Let's add some more tulips. Removing any foliage that's going to sit below the water line and giving it a fresh trim. Getting our flowers hydrated, it's so much fun to see them come together and anticipate, you know, the outcome and the beauty that's going to be enjoyed. So that is step 1 and 2. We're gonna remove the foliage and trim and hydrate them, get them into our flower food. All right, we're ready for step 3 now, and that is to find a good location to enjoy your flowers. So our number 1 tip for your location is to avoid a place that has direct sunlight. So I'm by a window here, and so this ledge is not a good place to enjoy my flowers for a long length of time. I want to get them into the room away from the direct sunlight and away from the heat. You can't see it, but there is also a heater right down here that runs all the way along the bottom of this window, so on our baseboard. And so this would not be a good place. Get it away from the heat and away from the direct sunlight to maximize your vase life. And then step 4 that we recommend is to check your water level every day and make sure that those stems are still touching the water and pulling in the flower food and the other the liquid that they need for their nourishment. So check your water levels every day, and you can refresh your water every day or every 2 to 3 days so that it stays nice and clean. That will help to keep bacteria from growing, and it will help to give you the long vase life for your flowers that you desire. And step number 5 is to appreciate and enjoy your locally grown fresh cut flowers. So enjoy those, and we hope that they bring you as much delight as it does to us as we grow them. Let us know how these tips help you to promote the long vase life of your flowers, and we look forward to hearing. Thank you for joining us for today's episode. Our goal is to always create content that's helpful for you. And if you found today's episode helpful, we'd like to ask you to click the like button and subscribe to our channel so that you can receive notifications as to when the next content is available. And as always, if you have comments or questions, please drop those below and we would be happy to engage. We read every single one. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.